I was just watching my phone to see when it hit exactly at 5 o'clock so I could be here with you on my favorite time, at my favorite time of the week, which is Monday. Welcome everyone to Q&A Monday. I'm excited to be with you as usual, adding value to how we show up on our lives, on our feeds, on our social media platforms. And if you are new here, because I know 5 new members joined us, and if you're new here, this is what we do every single Monday, and during the week we show up. Most importantly, we speak up anytime we are having a challenge or want to know something, so the community can jump right in, and we clap it up for each other in the support of each other's businesses and what we're doing, because I so believe in collaboration over competition. And of course, the final principle that we exist by in this forum is that we give it up. We give up of our time to be here on a Monday, and we give up of our time to ask questions and share in this amazing forum. Can I tell you something? I am so stoked for today. Over the last month, as you know, we have been deep diving into Instagram, from everything from bio makeovers to writing your bio to understanding what Instagram really means. And today I have to say, other than stories, okay, so maybe it's a little bit of a competition between stories and caption writing, but caption writing is my jam. I love it. And maybe that's the journalist in me, because I come from a journalism and public relations background, but I thrive when I have to stare at a blank page and create captions that really connects and engages. So what I know, of course, I always share, and I wanted to do a specific sort of deep dive into how do you write better captions that will not just be like, okay, you take a shot of your coffee and you say, my favorite latte for the day. Or you take a picture of your brand and you put up, let's say it is a piece of an item of clothing, and you put up an item of clothing and you say, polka dot dress $59.99 or $599. Right, that really isn't engaging, and that really isn't making the audience understand who you are and what it is you do. And don't forget, I truly believe, and I say this all the time, right? I truly believe in the principle of that your customers and your followers and your tribe, they have to know you, they have to trust you, like you, in order to purchase from you. And I really believe that even though an image may speak 1,000 words, we have another pinpoint that we can capture and engage with people, and that is through the words that we write on our captions, in that blank space, in that grid underneath our photo on Instagram. That's another way that you can stop people from scrolling, because listen, like when you are on Instagram, aren't you just scrolling by? Like you're scrolling, and you would see a great picture. Maybe you stop for a second, but really it's in the captions that I really believe that you have a minute or 2 minutes to really touch people's heart and show them who you are and what you're about. And we're going to dive into that. But we have a ton of great questions, and I actually am not going to get to them all. I'm going to leave some for our last and final Instagram chat next week, which will be our final one. But I do want to get straight into questions, and how this works is that you send me a question ahead of time, and sometimes when there are no questions, I usually ask you for a prompt, because I would tag you and say, hey, do you want to know what I am going to be speaking on today? And that's exactly what I did. So without further ado, let's get into the first question from Avia Greason. And Avia, if you are on, please let me know. I'm so excited to get into this, because I think your question hit such a nail, and it was, I think it's good. People, when they see it and when they're reading this across the screen, are going to say, you know what, that is me. So Avia says, or wrote, My biggest struggle right now is most of the people on my IG, on my Instagram, are not my ideal clients. I am more consistent with showing up and adding value, but can feel like it's falling on deaf ears sometimes. I do have a couple of leads that gives me positive feedback. So Avia, I love your question, because in the build-up of our Instagram feeds, what we find, particularly, and I am addressing those of us who are building businesses and brands online. Hey, if you are on Instagram and you are seeing this as an album of your life, or you are seeing this as a way that you can just keep great photographs and make it a visual journal, this is not for you. So this is about boss babes, it's about fempreneurs, it's about entrepreneurs, both male and female, who are growing businesses online and are very serious about using the platform. So if you are serious about using the platform like Avia, you are concerned that the people who are following you represent your ideal customer base, both in terms of demographic, psychographic, so that when they come onto your platform and you are sharing things and information and you're sharing useful tips and insights, which Avia is doing, because she is about providing entrepreneurs, particularly first-time entrepreneurs, with information that they can succeed in their businesses. So Avia is very concerned that when she writes, she is not having anybody show up and engaging with the content that she is writing about or talking about or posting a picture about. And here's the thing, right? Instagram, Avia, and I hope you're listening, Instagram is about discoverability. So really, you want to be discovered by the right community, the right people, the right folks who will tap into your wisdom, and then your followers become customers. So here's what I want you to do. And if this means waking up an hour earlier or going to bed an hour earlier or taking your lunch hour if you have one, because you're an entrepreneur, so that means you're probably like all the time switched on. But this is homework I'm going to give you and to anybody else who is concerned about discoverability, and having the right client, the right people follow your account. What I want you to do, and drag out a pen and pencil because it's like wisdom just like raining down. I want you to use your search bar and look for hashtags that are related to your industry or your business. So for instance, Avia, I would say use hashtags like fempreneurs, boss babes, success for women, because I believe you are addressing women, if I am not correct. Let me know if I'm totally off base and if this is for everyone, right? You really want to be using your search bar and you want to find accounts who are similar to yours. And here is what you're going to do. Charlene, hi, thank you so much for joining us. Here is what I want you to do, Avia, once you have found those Instagram pages, because they represent the places where your ideal customer is located. Over the course of the hour that you're going to either spend earlier in the morning or later in the evening, you are going to write thoughtful, considered comments on at least 10 Instagram accounts, right? So every week, what I want you to do is pick 10 Instagram accounts, and these same 10 for a week, I want you to leave every single day considered comments on their pages. When they are having conversations and discussions, I want you to jump into those discussions and I want you to leave comments. Then the following week, you're going to find 10 other new pages, and you're going to start new conversations with these 10 new pages, but not neglect the 10 pages you had over the previous week. So in actuality, you're going to be posting and engaging more. By engaging more and being where your ideal customer is, because if you search for fempreneur, boss babe, Caribbean entrepreneur, I'm just using those words, and find accounts that are like yours, you are actually engaging in a space where like-minded individuals, where your ideal customer is. And the law of reciprocity states on social media, On social media, this is a God-given fact. Once you engage consistently in accounts, they show up, these feeds show up more in your own feed. They see you, you see them, and the law of reciprocity states that they will engage with you once you are providing the right kind of content. Now, Avia, I have seen your page. Boo! You are doing it. I love the way you're writing captions. By the way, I want you to go back into your Instagram bio, and I want you to check the link that you have, because I clicked on it yesterday, and it did not take me to a page. So you might want to check, the link may be broken. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But really, Avia, this is going to take work, but I promise you, if you do this over a month, you are going to see you are attracted. It's like the law of attraction. It's like pulling in the fish, right? I'm like a fisherwoman now. It's like pulling in the bait, right? Dangling the bait and the fish biting at that bait, because that's exactly what's going to happen in your ocean. Hey, that's exactly what's going to happen in your ocean, Avia. And do not forget, I want you to show up in your stories as soon as you see that you are getting more comments on your page. And I'm giving you 3 weeks to 4 weeks to do this. And I want you to jump right back in this conversation, or maybe in a new conversation on Caribbean Content Creators Club, and let me know. I bet, and I am not a betting woman, meaning I don't bet any money on anything, but I am assuring you that you are going to see a marked increase in the quality of the people who is following you. And please, when that happens, I want you to get really aggressive with your Instagram stories. I want you to be showing up every single day in Instagram stories. I want you also to be engaging in other people's Instagram stories. And I want you to be doing polls and asking questions, because again, the algorithm is going to rescale itself and act in your favor, shifting more eyeballs, because once people engage with your polls and your questions and your quizzes on your IG stories, people are going to land on your page, the right quality people. Now, Avia, I do have to tell you, this takes work. It takes a whole lot of work. I would say like consistently an hour every single day, but the reward is there for you. Okay, so I'm jumping in. I hope that answered your question, Avia. I am going to see if I have questions coming in. I can see it online, so please don't be crickets. If you are there, place an emoji, send me a question. One of the things, how I want to grow this Q&A Monday, is that I really want to also be answering live questions as they pop up. So I don't also only want to be getting dated questions. I love the dated questions. It allows me to research and be really on point when okay, so this means a lot to me. So Avia says she is prepared to do the work, and Avia, I'm glad, and I want you to report into me. And you know what? You can Skype me, you can WhatsApp me. Let's do this together. I also have another challenge for us. For this entire space, the entire people who are actually listening and who will then come on here later, because I know there's a whole surge of people that come on here after 5 to listen to the tips and the insights that I am providing. If you have an Instagram account, can you do me a favor? Like a simple favor. Can you please put your Instagram account below this conversation? Write it out. I want us as accountability partners to follow each other's Instagram accounts and engage with each other's Instagram accounts on a daily basis. Because I believe it all starts from home, right? And Caribbean Content Creators Club is your home for social media information, and when you're growing your business and your brand online, using the platforms to really connect and engage and turn followers into customers. Boom. Okay, so let's get to the second question because we have a lot to cover. I'm doing the questions first and then the tutorial after, so there is so much ground to cover. So Kimo is always rocking with the questions, and Kimo asked, why is it that Facebook seems so much easier to navigate than Instagram? I hear you. And I really believe, just like Avia's question was about discoverability, Kimo, your question speaks to the heart of familiarity. Do not forget that Facebook has been around for like over a decade. We are so familiar with it that it becomes innate. And the fact that we used it first to connect with our family and friends before Facebook even started Facebook for Business. We used Facebook groups. We used it primarily to connect with our family and friends. So there was a great familiarity and ease with which we tackled it with. I mean, since Facebook has evolved and grown, there are so many other social media platforms, and Facebook owns Instagram. So they were very specific. At first, Instagram was, you know, it was basically like how Facebook started, like it's all for free, it's all easy. And then the more people get on and the more mass is amalgamated on the platform, it starts to hook, because these people are hooked, because we all are hooked. It turns into a business. And now you can buy Instagram ads. And now you have to be concerned about hashtags. And now it is not so easy for people to find you. And now you have to be discoverable. And now you have to understand what alt text is. And now you have to attract your ideal customer. So I want to say that the unfamiliar can become familiar with practice. And I know, Kimo, you are practicing. So yes, I think because we are seeing now these platforms as deliberate channels in which we can make money, generate revenue, grow a customer database, because we are seeing this as social media is the new marketing. Right? Like traditional media is still around, but social media is not the new marketing. Social media is marketing. And because we're now seeing this no longer as a playground to connect with our family and friends, and because we're more strategic, of course there is a learning curve. But I'm always saying, if somebody is serving me a semi-free meal, I am not going to turn up my nose at that buffet. I am going to sit down and I'm going to eat it all up. So I want you to take the time. And I know, Kimo, this is what you do here. You absorb the information and you implement it, which is like, clap that up, girl. So I have completely mastered Facebook. I make 80% of my income via Facebook. That is fantastic. I always say, it ain't correct to put all the eggs in a basket, right? Don't put all your eggs in a basket. As these platforms evolve, do not forget to try them out and use them, because if you're making 80% of your sales from there, think about what you could do on Instagram. Think about what you could do on LinkedIn, right? Depending on what your business is. I do want to say, I am seeing the questions. I am so thankful, but I'm not seeing the faces or the name next to the question. So sorry if I'm not using your first name to address you. Okay, so Marlene had a question. So Marlene's question is, I really have not jumped onto the IG platform as much as I should. So this is my question. Should I use Instagram as a sounding board for my new business venture to generate interest? Or should I wait until I have things up and running before creating and posting? Sounding board. I would say to you, Molly, that Instagram is work. And there is a sounding board through polls and quizzes. But I would say if you were to test your new business venture, then you should test it on Facebook where your audience is. It takes work to build an audience on Instagram. If you're not, can I be real? I mean, we're all adults here. Can I be real? If you're not in a bikini, if you're not doing something salacious, if you don't have like a full-time photographer and doing exquisite photographs and so forth, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to find your audience. It's a slow ride, but it can happen with consistency. So I want to say to you that if you want to test anything, test it where your audience is. Test it where the people are. Because right there and then you have on your Facebook page, if it is thriving and busy and engaged, you have already a ready-made focus group that you can do qualitative and quantitative survey. Facebook has polls built into its Facebook business page. And you can begin to use it. Actually, you can ask your audience, how many of you are on Instagram? Maybe that question alone, by saying yes or no, and then you finding the percentage, maybe that moves you to say, okay, why don't I use Instagram as a sounding board? Does that make sense? I want to say to you that Instagram is so much work that you have to have an audience first in order to gauge or to ask questions. And if you don't have an audience, ain't nothing going on but the rant. So I would say go where your audience is and let them lead you to places that you need to be. I'm not saying that this is not the time to not build an Instagram page, because you can do that anytime. But you said you don't have a lot of time. And if time is of essence to you and you don't want to suffer from overwhelm, I would say stick to where your audience is and poll there. Use a focus group there, and then you can slowly build out your Instagram feed. Both can happen simultaneously, but as for a sounding board, if you don't have an audience, I would say no. Does anybody agree with me, or do you think like I'm talking like garbage? Like do you think it's not making sense? Let me know if you think that Marlene should really pay attention to where her audience is if she wants information on this new business venture that she's starting. Okay, I love this question because it speaks to the heart of what we are going to talk about today in the tutorial. So Marilyn asked, how can I hold my audience with my caption and how can they be interested in my product? My biggest problem is that I don't have the patience for lengthy captions and knowing what is suitable to encourage action by potential clients. So Claudine is saying, yes, I'm still trying to find myself on Facebook. So you agree with me, Claudine, that she should really wait before she begins to take on Instagram as a sounding board. Avia, you also agree. Clap that up, people. Thank you so much for participating. Let's get back to Marilyn's question. Marilyn says she doesn't have the patience for lengthy captions and knowing what is suitable to encourage actions by her potential clients. And another question on caption writing. I want to feel more confident when I write so that it resonates with my audience. Any steps to make that happen? And boy, oh boy, like I wish I knew how to do my hack. Like boy, oh boy, do I have steps for you. Simple steps. Steps that you can implement right away. Easy steps. Implementable steps. Steps that will excite you. Like I have steps for you coming up right after this, because today's teachable moment is how to write better captions. Now, I can stare at a blank screen and like in a moment, the words can come right down at me. And that's because I have always been a writer. And I grew up in a family of journalists. I became a journalist. I became a PR executive. And so words are very natural for me, to me. Doesn't make me better than you because your strengths are in other areas. But caption writing is my jam. And I want to say to you on Instagram, you have about 2,000, a little over 2,000 characters in which to write your Instagram caption. And about 87 characters reside above the line. So meaning when I say above the line, so think about when you tap into your Instagram feed or your Instagram page and you read a caption, you would see a few words and then you would say see more. And you have to click on to read the entire caption. So about 87 words exist above that, above the line. I call it above the line based on the advertising background that I also have, right? But you actually have over 2,000 characters to play with. That's pretty meaty. Now, when I was in journalism, right, I need to stop saying right. When I was in journalism, if you think about reading a newspaper, you think about listening to the news, what do journalists begin with? When you pick up the papers, what do you look at? You look at the headline. The headline represents the hook. Got that? And then you're drawn into the story. Whether you read that story or not depends on that hook. Your hook, my dear friends, my dear creators, Caribbean content creators, your hook are those 87 above the line words. I want you to get focused on making sure they sing your song, hallelujah. I want you to get focused on doing right by those 87 above the line words. Or is it characters? I'm going to find that out for you some more. But that's the hook. You want to begin with a hook. Something that when somebody reads it, in addition to seeing your amazing photograph, that when they read it, they want to read some more. Now, after the hook, if you think, let's go back to that newspaper for a while, right? After the hook, what you have is the most important information, if it's information-based, but 2 or 3 paragraphs, short paragraphs that will draw you into the story. And then all the secondary information is below. So let's apply that to writing your best IG caption ever. After you hook the reader in, I want you to think about what paragraph, what is going to be in that next paragraph that's going to tell my story better. Now, for me as a writer, after my hook, I would do 2 to 3 paragraphs, and if you gave me 4 or 5, I'd do it too. But I don't want to be too lengthy. It's not a book that I'm writing. So I could do 2 to 3 paragraphs of information that I think would be very, very useful. And then what I want to do in wrapping things up, I want to leave a call to action because I want my followers, my ideal customers, to engage with me. Did you notice I have no makeup on? Oh, I forgot to tell you this one. I decided, except for a lip gloss, I decided I'm not going to show up on Instagram, IG, Q&A Monday with makeup anymore. I just believe, I wanted you to see that you don't have to be fancy, you don't have to be super glam, you have to be authentic. And I am in my living room, this is my space, and I am home after watching Academy Awards all night long and working my butt off all day long. I didn't feel like doing the makeup thing. So I'm showing up all natural, authentic me. You can do the same too. So let's get back to it. Hook. Tell the story. Call to action. That is the anatomy of a caption. So your caption shouldn't just be like a lot of words or adjectives or one-liners. They are more about telling a story that leaves your audience eager to hear and learn more about what you do and who you are, because it's about building trust. It's about knowing you. It's not about selling. It's not about a hard sale all the time. You can sell. Like I can say, I'm using this nail polish today. It's like a baby, it's like a pale pink. Like, can you see it? Like I never use pale pink. Can you see? Okay. So I can say pale pink nail polish, $5.99. Why am I stuck on $5.99? $5.99 for this pale pink polish. Get it on my online store. Or I can be talking to you and I can use this action showing you how I'm painting my nail. And you can then say to me, having seen the color, and me just talking casually like, hi guys, I am using, or hi friends, or hi Caribbean content creators. Pardon me while I paint my nails. This is my favorite color. And because I bought this new ring, I love how it looks against the baby blue. Now notice, I am not selling you the nail polish. I'm not saying nail polish $5.99. I am just casually using the nail polish and telling a story. And bet your bottom dollar, if you like the color, you're going to ask me, or you're going to go to my e-commerce store and you're going to find this color and you're going to buy it. Because if I did that every single day in different ways, showing up in my Instagram stories, talking about my nails, doing captions that are live, and then having a caption with this polish that says $5.99. But what I would have done across grids and across my stories is that I would have built a trust. Can I have an amen? Did you hear me? Selling does not have to be about your captions, does not have to be always about the sale. Tell a story. Tell a story about who you are and what you do. And I'm going to demonstrate this. There are practically and only, remember I said, there are 5 questions that you need to ask before you press that send button. Just 5. 5 simple questions. These questions are on the internet. They're not mine, but when I found it, I'm like, oh, this is exactly what Caribbean content creators, amen, Charmaine, I hear you. This is exactly what Caribbean content creators need. In journalism, we are told to ask who, what, why, when, how. The 5 W's, the 4 W's and the H. That builds a story. For us on IG Captions, I take that principle and here is how I can break it down. When you are writing, and okay, so I'm going to give these 5 principles. They're going to be right here after this session is over. But if you want, write them down right now. Is your caption informative and helpful? Is it useful to the person who is going to be reading it? And if it's not informative, is it inspiring? Because I truly believe that Instagram, our social media platforms, is not just merely about the likes and the comments. It really is about transformation. And we can transform with inspiring captions. I also want to ask is, and remember we talked about this in the bio, and we said to do it in the most simple way, the most simplest of ways, the most simple ways possible. Does it explain, does your caption explain who you are and what it is you do? Who you are. Are you a potter? Are you a consultant? Are you a retailer? Are you a restaurant owner? Are you a brand manager? In your caption and storytelling, does it explain who you are and how you show up and what it is you do? And most importantly, when you say who you are and you identify your captions as useful or helpful, or is it informative? Or does it strike the right note? Is this speaking? Avia, can you see this question right here? Because it speaks to the heart of what you were saying. Your captions do not address your ideal customer. They do, but it's just that your ideal customer is not on your platform. So when you write your captions, you have to think, does your ideal customer, does it resonate with that person? Does it connect with that person? Is that person going to see themselves in the caption? When they read the caption, are they going to shake their head up and down? And is it going to soak into their hearts and minds? And finally, the 5th question you need to ask before you press that send button is, does the caption give people a way to respond and give you feedback? I call that, we all call that, I'm not the inventor, of the call to action. You have to be able to give people a call to action. And if when you write your captions, you have to see how many ticks can you strike, how many check marks can you put against the captions that you write. Like, is it giving people a chance to respond? Does it identify with your ideal customer? Is the caption useful or informative or inspiring? Does it state who you are and what it is you do? And of course, I know you're asking this, and I've got you. I did an example. I did an example for you. Okay, so let me give you some background. This weekend, we had at Studio FF, Studio Forward 40, a huge production. We photographed and captioned, but Saturday we really did the photo shoot. A 30-day Instagram spread for one of our retailers. I did Instagram stories all day long on this on Saturday. And a lot of people, I think at one time I had over 400 people looking at the Instagram stories, and that was so exciting to see. And I did live stories and it was great, but I wanted to do a caption for you to show you what I meant by, if you ask yourself those 5 questions and you check off, oh, 1, then you need to do it over. 2, it can be tweaked. From the time you're hitting 3, 4, 5 check marks, you are writing a brilliant caption. Go ahead and press that send button. So let me give you the example from Saturday's photo shoot. Okay, ready? Ready? Okay, let me start. Caption 1. Okay, based on what happened Saturday, I could have gotten up Sunday morning and said, we had a great photo shoot at Studio FF this weekend. Caption done. It's short and it's sweet. Now, I don't care. I prefer lengthy captions, but I don't think every grid has to be a lengthy caption. You can do short, you can do a marriage of 1 sentence, long form caption, shorter captions, but it must be meaningful. So when I look at that caption, and I really want this to hit home, because I see the potential to sell our ability to create Instagram grids for big brands. I want to sell our ability to do that. And so I'm going to be strategic with this caption. But I want to ask you, looking at that caption, is it inspiring? No. Does it say who we are and what we do? A little bit. We had a great photo shoot. Yeah, it does. Is it useful or helpful? Not in any way whatsoever. Does it resonate with our ideal customer? A little bit, but not really. And I think that if they read this caption, it would not be memorable. Does it give people a chance to engage with me? Do I ask a question at the end? Do I ask for feedback or response? Absolutely not. So 1 out of 5 check mark, that's pretty bad. Like really awful. Like I need to discard and delete that post, that caption right away. So let's get in, because I redid it. Let's get into a second caption. Over the weekend, my team and I worked on a brilliant photo shoot at Studio FF for one of our clients. What did you do this weekend? Okay, that got a little bit warmer. Did I get a response? Did I have a strong call to action? Yeah. What did you do this weekend? So I am asking people for their weekend plans and what they did on Saturday, and I can engage that way. Is that useful or helpful? Mm-mm. Is it inspiring? No. Now, it can be useful or inspiring. I'm talking about inspiring content because that's what I am known for, okay? It provides a strong call to action. It gives a little bit of insight into who we are and what we do. So we had a photo shoot this weekend. We know that we're serving clients. So yeah, so 2 out of 5, it's warmer. It's warmer. Can you feel it? Can you feel that breeze? So Charmaine's saying the second one piqued a bit of interest. And I so hear you, Charmaine. And I didn't add that many words, but I did add a response. And I did add the words, one of our clients. So if my ideal customer, which is fempreneurs, female entrepreneurs growing businesses online, as well as big brands, because I do work for big brands as well as small female entrepreneurs. So I kind of attract their attention by saying we worked with one of our clients. So if somebody says, oh, Judette is doing a photo shoot for one of our clients and that person has work, then maybe they will hire my team and I. Okay, you get it. I am like upping the ante on the number of check marks I'm listing next to it, right? So the third example. So the third one, okay, it's a little bit long, it's a little bit lengthy, but this is how I write. This is my Instagram feed. So I'm actually going to show you. I actually didn't do this post on Sunday. I did a much longer one. But I wanted to give you a refresh and not only do what I have on my Instagram feed. So I put in the work and I put in the time to serve you. Okay, ready? It's long, I promise. But it's so good. It's so good. That's another promise. Okay, caption 3. We spent our entire Saturday working on a photo shoot for one of our big clients. When we were done, at the end of a 12-hour day, Eliza, Studio FS producer, sank into a chair and said how happy she felt. I experienced that exact same emotion. We had spent days and days developing inspiration boards, working out the art direction, selecting the models and sets, and consulting with our client until she felt pleased that our creative intentions matched her business objectives. Looking back, I think that's why things went so smoothly at our studio on Saturday. The excellence was in the details. Have you ever put sweat and tears into a project and have it come out better than you expected? What was the project? I would love to know. Now, clap that caption up. Let's go back to our litmus test of questions. Do you get a sense of who I am? What my team does? Hell yes. I talked about inspiration boards, finding the models, selecting the sets, the photo shoots. Is it inspiring? Hell yes. Because I talked about being exhausted and Eliza saying she was so pleased with her efforts. Does my ideal client see herself in it? Hell yes. Boom, boom, shaka, shaka. She does, because now if my ideal client wants her entire Instagram grid produced, she's going to think of me if I am consistent telling similar stories. Does it have a strong call to action? Hell yeah, because I say, have you ever done a project that you put your soul into it, everything, your blood, sweat, and tears, and it came out better than you expected? What was the project? I'd love to know. 5 out of 5. Now, I know what you're going to tell me. Are you going to tell me you're not a writer? Are you going to tell me that's too long? Then I have a question to you, or for you. Are you using Instagram to build your business? Are you serious? Are you going to do it the right way? Then get used to captions. I say that to you only to say that you don't have to be a writer to do this. And I'm not saying that you have to do this all day or every single day. I am saying, I'm also choked up in here because I'm so passionate. I'm like coughing and spitting because I'm so passionate about this. I'm so passionate about this. If you are about growing your business online, then you've got to put in the work. And I'm not saying that you have to do this every day, but I'm saying that if you want clients and your tribe and your followers and your potential customers to know you, trust you, like you, and buy from you, they've got to know who you are, what you do. They've got to know what you sell. They've got to trust you. They've got to know you. They've got to like you. And you've got to show up in ways that just only doesn't say about your product all the time. You've got to put about your why, the process, not every day, not every day. If you do a long caption and you're not a writer, and you do a considered caption and you spend a weekend with your social media planner and you write out your captions and you think strategically about it, and you come up with 3 captions a week, okay, 2 captions a week until you get to be better. I challenge you to 2 captions a week, long form captions, and then you can sprinkle in the way you typically write. Here's a nail polish for $5.99. Not. Got it? I hope that when you look at these questions, that you really think about them as you write and you engage with your audience. They are so super useful. I want you to think about telling a story with a beginning, a middle, and end. And even though I tell inspiring stories, There's always a tension in the story. And if you're a writer, you can tap into that. And if you're not a writer, you can tell it to me straight. But tell me the story, even if you're selling it to me straight. Let me know who you are and what it is you do. Let your caption be useful and helpful and informative. It doesn't have to be inspiring, right? Give a strong call to action. Engage the reader in a response. Ask a question. And do not forget, I have strong CTAs on the right hand side. And you know, I have the repository where I put things in like freebies. I am doing a new freebie for you all. I'm releasing the vision board so during Carnival. So I am doing that. But you will see a list of strong call to actions. I have already done the work. And next week, you are getting 8 to 10 free captions. But I am not always going to be spoon feeding you. I want you to also feed yourself. Remember, we talked about the bait and the fish. You've got to learn how to fish. And this is what all these sessions are about. Any questions? Please ask them here. I saw a lot of engagement and I'm so delighted by it. But here's your opportunity for the next 5 minutes to ask me anything. Ask me a question. Ask me it in live. Put me on the spot. I want to do a little bit on Petal's Instagram. Petal, I did not have the opportunity to really put it up on the screen as I did everybody else's. But I do want to say to you, oh, so by the way, again, some context. Petal is a virtual assistant who is really implementing a lot of stuff that she learns here. Clap that girl up. And by implementing, she's showing just vast strides in what she's doing and making and creating, which is a successful business that helps busy business people and maximizes their productivity and time. That's what she had in her bio. Petal said, helping businesses or business people maximize their productivity and time. And I want to say to you, I get you, but I didn't love that. From the time you said, I always say, you know what I said again when I was creating those stories, is to explain it to me as if I am a 5-year-old. And from the time you put maximizing productivity and time, you made me stop and think twice. So I thought about it for a minute. And why can't you say, use the word, which VAs use a lot of time. I thought I wrote down something here as I was coming live, you know. So outsource your accounting and administrative work to me. Outsource your accounting and administrative work to me. And then put the advantages of outsourcing it to you in simple, brief bullet points. Right there in that sentence, you have explained it to me like if I was a 5-year-old. The other thing, I have 2 more tips for you. I do not like your image. So if I am a fempreneur or a business-minded person, or I run a business, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm very serious, I want you as my VA, and I'm not using all the great work that you do, because you do fantastic work. I testify. But if I didn't know you and you are looking, I think you are in a tank top or t-shirt, and there's a background behind you, your countenance is not engaging enough, take this in the best way that I'm saying it. So I would say redo your bio photo. Put some attention to it. Like, I want you to engage with those boss babes who would be looking at your page and wanting to hire you, Petal. You are so good. Don't let that IG photo discredit all the great work that you do. And something else, too many third-party inspirational captions. I saw none of you in there. I need for you, and I know you're a new mom, and I know you're working a business and finding clients and so forth, and I know this is hard, but I want you to show up in every third grid that you have on Instagram. I want to see your face. I want to get your personal opinion. I want to get your thoughts. I want to hear about the work you're doing. I want to know who you are and what it is you do in every third grid that you post. Patel, I hope that is helpful. Charmaine, I saw your Instagram just this morning when this was already completed. I am going to address your IG bio next week in our very last, I promise, last Instagram conversation, where I'm going to deep dive into stories. Okay, so that's it, I think. No more questions. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If you don't know by now, I am very serious about growing our YouTube channel, and I am also very serious about putting content up that is related to growing our businesses. So last night I put up a piece of content about how to produce consistent content on a budget. I would love, because I am trying to grow my page, I would love if you would head over to Forward 40 on YouTube, so you can find us at Forward 40, and you can look through it all and look at the videos, the recent videos. There's sure to be something in there for you, because it's all about growing your business online in a very visual way that I don't get to do in my lives. I tell stories, it's pretty interesting, they're longer conversations, and I'm very proud of the work that we have there. Until next week, Caribbean content creators, thank you so much for joining me, and please don't forget to share this. Sharing is caring. Do not keep Caribbean content creators to yourself. Please don't. Please share this on your page so that more people can join us, and invite your other female entrepreneurs, male entrepreneurs, your friends who are growing their businesses online, and tell them all about us. Until next week. Bye.